getting like a close-up of Steve.
Supposed to be paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm working with my visual artists to get this shit right.
He didn't like it when I dragged him back into chat, but I'm not letting him run away.
That's okay. I was right. I was back anyways.
That's it, Steve.
That's her. That's
it.
her.
Yeah.
See, you buy enough mics and weird Amazon shit, you'll get all the swivel and screw connectors you can possibly ever need.
We finished at the end of chapter 3, right? Did not read chapter 4.
Correct. We didn't start the. It's called Dead in the Other World.
Okay.
Hang on, let me double check that because it was weird. We did not read chapter 4, Dead on the Other Side. That's where we stopped.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything else should be good.
Wonder if I can do something fancy. Let's try it.
Like what, Steve?
I'm looking into my side monitor because that's where Discord is and that's where all my mics and everything run. But I gotta try and get Discord over into my face monitor. Because I'm gonna be looking at you guys talking the whole time, so I want to look where I'm talking. And not off to the side. Because my side profile is shit. Let me tell you that.
I don't believe you.
You know it to be true. You're being too nice.
I think you're beautiful, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dreamers.
And you say I'm a dreamer. Well, I'm not the only one.
It's down, my love.
About time you showed up.
Look at him. It's the big bearded bastard. Hey, buddy.
With no hat on or nothing. He's all weird looking.
He's gonna have a big shiny dome for us tonight.
Better go through the makeup chair first.
Beautiful.
Y'all are fucking rude.
I don't think it's rude when you talk to your buddy. Yeah.
That's batteries.
Gotta ease into it first.
You know that he knows he's bald too, right?
Yeah. No.
Bald is the new beautiful.
It's not like we ruined the secret here.
Yeah, no,
Look,
don't tell him.
I'm not far behind him.
Encapsulated.
Either.
I encapsulated my my inner Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Something else?
Yeah, they got some weird shit going on there. Well, it's because I come home from work and have a snoozer.
I mean, you got to when you reach your age.
Yes, if you're going to be playing at night, you got to be.
Which is over 30.
You could ask to handle your tears before you dump the thing on the floor.
Say what?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mute.
Oh, I thought you were talking to us. I'm like, dump anything on the floor.
No, she's trying to read her tears.
Sorry, Mom.
Everyone's here. Good. Tam Tam, hi. Nice to see you. P-Pops, you're down there. Christopher, Steven.
Modus is.
Hi.
Hello there.
I believe Modus said that he was not going to make it, right?
Because
he's got family.
D&D game, right?
He's got family coming in.
Yes.
I just don't want to start without him.
Thank you, Tam Tam. I appreciate that.
I think it was both.
I think the weekly reading streams was a little bit wrong for him because of the family coming in D&D stream or something.
The reading was the D&D, and then this was family coming in. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it is closely coming up on 9 o'clock. You guys want to just go ahead and start? All right. All right.
Letting it breathe.
And let me just make this.
We need one of these recliners. Things are fucking comfortable.
Properly shaped. Because.
I'm sipping her recliner tonight.
What's that you said a while ago that I was dying?
I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about.
Yes. ignorant, I swear.
Gotta get us back in the right spots here, guys. Sorry.
Probably my fault.
Oh, you put us in there in here so that way we wouldn't be
Disturbed?
interrupted.
Disturbed. Yars.
Because now that we're semi-popular, people may disturb us.
Well, it's not that I'm really worried about getting like disturbed. It's just I don't want to deal with having to explain what's going on
Yeah,
in the middle of what's going on while it's happening. You know.
exactly.
Did you put a to be sure? Hold on, let me scroll up. Look for Modus. Might not be there either. Busy weekend for the soon-to-be 1-year-old's birthday.
Oh,
Hold on then. Oh, okay.
Okay. Almost got it. Almost got it. What's funny, Steve?
If you can't afford gas, buy an electric car. Is as dumb as if you're homeless, buy a house. I like that. You know, Facebook making people smarter one day at a time.
I mean, if you consider that smarter.
You know who really made people smart? Fucking Tom. Tom. Everybody's best friend from MySpace.
I
He
didn't
warned you about all
ever have a
kinds of shit.
MySpace.
You never had a
Never had a
MySpace?
MySpace. You remember
I didn't have a
MySpace?
MySpace either.
I didn't have internet till I was like 17.
Well, Steve, you're older, so
Yeah, I missed out on it. I probably didn't have a computer then or something. I didn't people were doing that. There was no on.
Steve was still like jamming out to 8-tracks and popping CDs and shit in. He's like, man, this computer shit is just gonna blow over.
Let's have a look here.
Internet forums at the time.
I think it was 2000.
2003.
Yeah,
Okay, this is why I didn't have a MySpace. Because my son was born in 2002, so I was busy.
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah,
9.
so I didn't even know what MySpace was.
oh.
Maybe 2003. Okay, I was 11.
I
Sorry.
love that shit. Like all the different little things you could do to it. It was so fun to personalize.
You know what that was, right?
Personalize.
That was all coding and shit. And then everybody's like, I don't know how to use computers.
Okay, we're flipping flopping.
Okay.
Ready, guys?
That's me every day.
Shaboom. There we are.
I've seen
No,
your
we're talking
fucking
about
MySpace. I know that shit's glitter bombing.
Whoa, shit.
I never glitter bombed mine.
I didn't either, but I had some motion in the background.
I had some like cool ass songs
and a
playing. You better
playlist on
believe
the
that.
side,
Yeah.
and yeah.
You better believe that.
and I
I think
I
Sneak
was-
tried to keep his running as long as he could.
It's still there.
was a teen, so I had that like super angsty picture. I'm
And
like,
then we still had them when we got married. You
When
remember?
they like shut it down, they made everybody's profiles private, but you can still go view it if you have your login information.
yeah. It's just a place for ads and viruses now.
Yeah.
You try to log on and it's like, no, this is not Windows 2000 or
Scary
XP.
dark.
Yeah, you think it's like part of the fucking dark web or some shit.
The Windows
It is.
98.
MySpace is the original dark web. Welcome to episode whatever. We're reading the Drawing of the Three. I believe our chapters this week were the first Shuffle. We read Lady of Shadows. This is the second part. We read Data and Odetta, Ring in the Changes, and Odetta on the other side. I really enjoy these chapters, although they are very different. The character that's introduced is one of a kind.
Two of a kind, actually.
It's a
Good one,
twin
Steve.
flame character.
Good one, Steve. Jesus. We start off with I guess it's her driver named Andrew. Really nice Irish guy. Pretty much you slowly but surely you're getting to know who this character is. You find out that she was recently incarcerated because it is the 1960s and she is fighting for civil rights. She visited a place called Oxford Town, which I believe is Mississippi.
Oxford Town.
I believe it is Mississippi. I'm not positive though. Her name is Odetta Holmes. Her dad is owner of a few dental patents and eventually of a bunch of dental factories in the South. But you find out that her driver has some suspicions, which I thought was kind of a cool way to introduce it. Strangely enough, in the very beginning, he tells her that he was reading a column and the guy had said the world has seen the passing of... Sorry, America has seen the passage of the world's last gunslinger. And kind of woke Odetta up from her kind of reverie, and you kind of like jump into her life at this point. Something I think is really important to point out is right around after she tells him what happened, which pretty much like they held her captive until she had to pee. She had to pee herself. Where's the line at? It says,
I can still smell the dried urine in the damned holding cell.
Yes, she was pretty much like taught a lesson by these racists that you're just an animal in a cage, no more than that, no better than that. And that's how they wanted like her to feel. So something that I think is really important is a little further down it says, a trying 3 days. Well, that was one way to put it. Another might have been that her 3 days in Oxford, Mississippi had been a short season in hell. And it's important to remember that this is like just a couple of days before Roland intervenes, and there was also the part where they said that Roland and Eddie were also in their different particular hells. Sickness and infection, and then Eddie's was withdrawal. Like they had all kind of experienced the same kind of personal hell right around the same time frame almost. Because
days.
For her it was like just over the last week, she went down and got captured and had like dealt with the whole thing. So it's kind of like they were all dealing with the same stuff at the same time. I thought that was pretty neat. Then we learn about Detta Walker, who is not Odetta Holmes, but her like alternate personality. She's a real winner.
Sex fiend. Oh, sorry.
Also that, yes. Okay, we can rip that Band-Aid off. She is.
Might as well.
She is a
Caricature.
Yeah, she is.
She is balls to the wall, wild and out.
Yes, but she's also like, I believe there's a part where it talks about she's like a cartoon version of like what a black person would talk like and act like, and she's supposed to be kind of a personality that you find kind of created from like the bad parts of Odetta's life.
That was after the huge. I'm pretty sure 7.
Well, when they reach the door though, there's kind of an argument outside of the door, and the argument is Eddie says, "Take me with you," and Roland says, "Hell no." And And he's like, if you leave me here, I'm gonna kill you. We talked about it earlier, but there's a part where he talks about Eddie taking his gun from him.
For me, it feels like Eddie wants him to take him seriously, but he knows Eddie enough that he won't actually do it. Eddie just doesn't want to feel left out, I feel like. At least that's what I feel like, the way that he did that, and then he's like, well, I'm going to kill you if you leave, and like, he doesn't. So if Roland took him seriously, he would have, took him seriously. But he just kind of let him do his thing to get it out of his system.
Right. There's a part where he's like, he just waited and like let him work it out himself.
Yeah.
And his idea is like, I don't like it here. It's a shit deal. No one likes it here, and I still want to go get high. So if you leave me here, then what point do I have of even letting you live? And he decides he's going to kill him. He grabs his knife and gets right on top of him and holds it to his throat. And that is when you kind of jump into a little bit of a flashback where you have a young Odetta Holmes picked up by an ambulance because she was pushed in front of a train and has the bottom part of her legs amputated. They chop them off just above the knee. Train runs them over. The flashback is told from the perspective of the paramedics and a doctor in training who is riding with the paramedics because of a specific requirement for like public service or something. Like they make him ride along. Can you imagine, like, you're almost a doctor and then they're like, spend the next year pretty much riding along on these ambulance calls, like just the broad spectrum of things you would see. And then they even mentioned one of them is like there was an airplane crash and he had to like go clean up the airplane crash and try to help the people who were like still left behind. But this amputation, this double amputation by train, he said was the weirdest thing he saw, because guess what, there was two people trapped in that body, and it was a very obvious two people trapped in that body. One of them was rude and like ready to just kill, and the other one was polite and kind and quiet, and was this, the ambulance doctor said it was the strangest thing he'd ever seen. But you kind of get this like backstory of how she had her legs chopped off, and you find that she was pushed in front of a train. Steve mentioned earlier tonight that he noticed a trend. Somebody else got pushed.
Oh, yeah? In front of a black
Cadillac.
Was it a Cadillac? Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Jake died. Jake was also pushed just before he was killed.
Might be some lines being drawn here.
I think there's definitely something happening along those themes. When they actually open the door to Odetta's mind, though, they're given a scene of Macy's. They see her stealing stuff, like cheap costume jewelry.
And her purse was at least 3 times as much as all the jewelry that she was taking.
Yeah, it wasn't like the obvious thing was that she's not there because she needs the money. Like she's, a very rich person. But what you find out is that the person that's in control of the body is not Odetta, but it's Detta. It's Detta Walker. Roland just takes control, right? He just takes control, and turns her wheelchair towards one of the dressing rooms, hightails it to the dressing room, and then like she's kind of shifted and turned back around and through the door, and boom, she's out. She's on the beach.
I like that little fight between Roland and Eddie before Roland jumped in and took control.
Yes. There's definitely a struggle for power there. Roland doesn't believe it. And what happens is, as soon as Odetta is rolled out onto the beach, Roland's no longer behind her, and he's inside of his own body. And immediately, her reaction to the whole situation is denial. They have this whole conversation about how this isn't real. She's just showed up on this beach or whatever, and you know she's trying to figure out like where the time went, and like they have an argument over like whether it's real or not, like whether it's even reality. And immediately, my main man Eddie just falls right in love with her. One of those love at first sight things, yeah. I think right away she starts crying, and Roland hightails it for the hills. Goes and gets water, but he purposefully like leaves them alone. I think there's a part where he mentions like Eddie will be okay now. Like Eddie's got someone to take care of, so he's gonna be all right now.
Yeah, that's what Roland thought to himself.
Yeah, like, and he kind of wondered, like, you know, is that kind of heartlessness gonna be a detrimental characteristic? Like, if he becomes that heartless of a person, you know, is making it to the tower even a worthy quest at that point? You know, like, there's a part where it says, "What if you should, heartless, actually storm the tower and win it? If there is naught but darkness in your heart, what could you do except degenerate from beast to monster? To gain one's object as a beast would only be bitterly comic, like giving a magnifying glass to an elephant. But to gain one's object as a monster, to pay hell is one thing, but do you want to own it?" So it's like he's realizing that, like, you know, he's got to change, you know, like how he treats people, like who he is with people, in order for him to like continue through this. Because obviously one of the things he's learning now is he needs more people with him to even succeed in his quest. Obviously, him being told he has to draw people from other worlds into his in order to continue, you know, it's telling him like he's not able to do it alone. So I think there's.
And go
ahead.
He's got to look outside of him. He's got to look outside of himself for once and stop just focusing on the tower. I mean, it still has to do with the tower, but like now he has like other people to like consider. So for him, after so many years of letting go of everything, he's got to learn to actually be attached to something and someone again without like, fuck it, you know, they're going to be leaving me or they're going to be whatever, or they're just another thing I'm going to toss aside. So
I think that I haven't read these books yet. I know that Steve and Sneak has.
Steve doesn't,
but
remember.
I think
Steve's
that
pretty much where you are.
Fresh
by this
read,
point, yeah.
pretty much. I think that these characters, they do more than open themselves up to be a sacrifice for Roland. I mean, that's like a running theme. People that are around him typically don't stay alive for very long. But I think that how these people are going to affect Roland is what's going to build Roland.
I think it's very obvious that they've already affected him. Just Eddie being on the beach with him for this long has
and
already
taking care of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way that he allows Eddie to talk and treat him without like
Yeah,
saying
he's very
"fuck you."
patient. He's very patient with Eddie.
It started whenever he was being dragged across the beach,
Yeah.
and he was like, Court would have smacked the hell out of him. And he's like, wait, no. Now he's appreciating, and he's looking
Yeah,
at
he
it from a
actually- he
different
actually-
side.
I think there's right. What was it? Right. Right after that.
About what
Good.
what section are we on? Like 3, 4, or 5.
I'm-
Sorry, I
I'm
didn't.
right around
Where Sneak was talking about
subchapter 5.
5. Yeah.
Chapter 5. Okay.
In the
All right.
Odetta on the other side, chapter 3.
I didn't realize.
We're just kind
Oh,
of bouncing
so,
around a little bit. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just asking where we were.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah. Chapter 3, subchapter 5.
Yep,
Area-ish.
that's really yeah.
There's a part here where he says he thought of Allie and of the girl he had once waited for him at the window, thought of the tears he had shed over Cuthbert's lifeless corpse. Oh, then he had loved, yes, then. I do want to love, he cried, but although Eddie was also crying a little now with the woman in the wheelchair, the gunslinger's eyes remained as dry as a desert he had crossed to reach the sunless sea.
Which
So-
is to signify that he is numb. He's practically dead inside. Like, he's blinded by the tower, I
Like that.
believe, and that's the only thing that he's cut off all emotion, because everybody that he's lost over time has hardened him to life. And the Man in Black and all this other bullshit going on. Was it the Red Civil War? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, there was...
That
it was a
because it
civil war.
fucking killed a hell of a lot of people.
It's John Farson, the good man.
But I think that Roland's been chasing the Man in Black longer than the gunslinger. I mean, there's a lot of shit. Yeah, there were some flashbacks, but there's been a lot more like traps and pitfalls that we haven't seen.
So they've mentioned it already, but Martin was his father's sorcerer, and Martin helped him find the Man in Black. And a guy named Walter O'Dim helped him find the Man in Black, and they've already said it, but both of those people were the Man in Black. So like he's been wrapped up with him for a long time.
Yeah,
much sooner than we got when we started with the Gunslinger, the book.
I mean, he goes back to whenever he was a damn child.
Yeah,
and he saw his first murder, and I mean, took his first life. The cook.
Yep.
But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this whole section.
It was fun. There were some parts, I think that kind of gotta read through some of the language and understand that it was written, however many fucking years ago, and for the most part, like, the concept is once she reaches Roland's beach, she's Odetta.
It was a
Roland
flicker.
tells Eddie, like, that's not who I brought over here. That's not the person whose mind I was in when we went through that door. As soon as we went through, it switched.
It was like being naked in darkness with
Covered in
serpents,
poisonous snakes.
covering all over you. Yeah.
Once she's there, her and Eddie get to talking. She decides that she's none of this is real, and she got hit in the head. And then she tells him the story about the brick.
She feels that the beach is a dream.
As a little girl, she was in a coma because they were walking to the train station in New York, and someone dropped a brick on her head and knocked her out, and she was out for a long time. So she's saying that it could possibly be like another head injury because she remembers dreaming a lot when that happened to her too. So she has a lot of excuses and a lot of reasons why she's dreaming and none of this is real. Eddie tries to convince her, like, hey, maybe, sure, okay, maybe, but like also keep in mind, like, consider the fact that you're wrong and it could be exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Look at your hands.
While she's talking, she's looking at her hands the whole time, but then she looks up at him and tells him that she doesn't wear jewelry, while her hands the entire time have been covered in jewelry. Some of them really, really expensive rings, and other ones just cheap, costume jewelry.
Bubblegum rings, almost.
Yeah, so, like, she's obviously having problems coping already. And then we know that there's another personality living in there. But the entire time, it's just been Odetta and Eddie. And then Roland, tells him, like, hey, she's dangerous. She's dangerous.
He's like, I don't understand.
You
like,
must be on your guard. So they're kind of given
He didn't say that until he came back with water, right?
correct, yes.
So he had already left Eddie and Odetta, and they were getting all emotional, and Eddie's
Yes.
falling in love with her, and then
He's trying to convince
Roland
her that
comes
it's real,
back.
and she's saying that it's not. And the whole time
Odetta's
he's-
like, she's getting pissed off, and he's
Yeah.
like, fine, I'll just leave you alone real quick.
Yeah.
I see Roland over there, so...
he's like, I'd like to help
Yeah.
you, but I would need to be real to do that.
I love how she just flat out, she just smiled and
She's
was
in
like,
denial. Yeah.
no. Nope.
Just
What do you
decides,
know?
like,
It
she just decides, like, no.
everything.
Not
All the
not
shit,
real. No.
This is just fake,
At the end
It's
there,
bullshit.
Roland tells him, the woman I entered on the other side of this door was as deadly as those lobster things that come out at night. And that is where we ended our reading through this particular part. There was obviously a lot of background on Odetta. They had a lot of...
There was a lot of connection
personalities.
on both sides.
Yes, I think one of the important things we didn't touch on was she stole her aunt's blue plate when she was a kid and broke it.
Her as a person now, she doesn't. Odetta.
So I don't know timeline wise if this is before or after the brick.
I think this is after the brick.
So the brick happens and then
Hold on, wait, because they went to.
New York
She went to New York to
give
do
her
this
a plate.
to Aunt Blue.
Yes,
To
to
Aunt
give Aunt
Blue's.
Blue a plate.
So Detta was there before the coma
I think she's
because
always
she
been there.
had the plate. She had the plate, and then I think something traumatic happened to her whenever she was younger, possibly.
Maybe. I had a theory of maybe Gunslinger isn't the only one that can open up doors, and when Odetta got her head hurt, it might have opened up something between her and somebody else, which he doesn't realize because Eddie didn't know that Roland was there until Roland made himself known. And I was wondering if Odetta, I don't remember which one's which.
That is the hard
Eddie,
one.
Eddie,
had the
Eddie
same
did
thing.
feel. He did
He did
feel
feel.
a little. He's like he felt like there was
Well-
someone else over his shoulder. I think.
But I think
But-
Roland kind of wanted that to be that way. But if this other person saw opportunity, and the reason why I think this is because I do believe they mentioned Roland later on, and that's what made me think that there might have been, like when she got her head injury, that might have opened up something. That was my theory on that.
Well, that totally makes sense.
Ooh.
She is definitely broken on the inside, and there's parts of her that are not aware of other parts of her. So they're personalities that have been kind of living together for most of her life.
But Odetta is a sweet woman.
Yep.
Detta is a viper.
Yep.
Now, Detta is who he came into the head with immediately. Odetta didn't really know that he was there, but she's disgusted by him.
Yes, she doesn't like him.
But she
has an
doesn't
aversion
know,
to him.
like, she is super nice to everybody but him.
Hmm.
Yeah, she definitely has an
The
aversion to him.
other, yeah, definitely. She wanted to like rip him out. Rip him out of her head basically. But the other reason why I had that thought was when she mentioned that when she was younger, when she was in her coma and stuff. What maybe she wasn't really in a coma. Maybe she was on the other side of whatever was opened, and she didn't believe it because she was younger, and that's why she doesn't believe in the beach now because it just seems so realistic like before. But she doesn't realize she's been there or somewhere like that before. That was the other thing that made me think like that.
Huh. Those are all good theories. I definitely like them.
That is. And it makes total sense, especially already because of how
And because time
Whenever-
works differently.
time works differently, and Jake died in one world and appeared in the other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So with her being split personality, maybe she's somewhat of an interloper herself.
Possibly.
I do like the creativity here. You guys are thinking along Stephen King lines now.
What do you think, Tam Tam?
Oh,
I
Tam Tam
agree,
knows
I
what to
mean-
think. Aha.
She's like, I ain't gonna
That's a good-
tell.
Like, way to look at it.
Did we miss anything in the recap that you guys wanted to talk about? We feel like we nailed it.
Yeah, I love how we just totally glossed over. We ripped off the Band-Aid and then we just left it.
Yeah, well,
We're like, yep,
We're not-
she is.
we're not.
But you know,
we're not going to read the whole book to
Don't
you
have
on
to.
this stream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're not into sensationalization either.
Yeah, it's
We're low key.
yeah,
Hold
like if you want to read it, read it.
It was-
it's there.
it's a good read. It is a good read.
It's
If you
gonna
wanna
it's going to
listen.
continue. Actually, I was going to point out the next chapters we're going to read. You guys, we will do Detta on the other side. We will do Reshuffle, and we will do. That's not very much. The Pusher and Bitter Medicine. So read all the way up to the Honeypot, but don't read the Honeypot. It's another 100 pages.
All right, so read through chapter 1
Yes, read
of The Pusher.
Read through chapter 1 of The Pusher. That'll be for next week. Roland didn't have a huge part in this one. He was kind of more contemplative this time. You didn't get a whole lot of his presence here. It was a lot.
He was more like an observer. He was seeing other stories develop. He was kind of just watching, and they were sort of like the bridge between it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's
just, I just marked in Tam Tam's thing. What was that? What's going on?
No, I just find it interesting how you mentioned how Roland is kind of, he's not a main character in these last chapters we've read. He's kind of just putting his pieces together of the puzzle he's been given. And I think he's still assessing why he needs these puzzle pieces and what can they possibly mean to him.
Correct.
As we move along. Because
Like-
and also, sorry, the one thing that we didn't talk about was Eddie had his knife to Roland's throat.
Yeah.
He threatened to kill him if he left him behind, and then he had his knife to his throat, and he never did.
No.
He just couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
It was a Mexican standoff.
Well, see, as soon as he comes to the door, he doesn't have like he's not in a body. He's back into his own body. And what happens is like Odetta comes rolling in and then looks over her shoulder like at the person who was pushing her wheelchair. You know, Roland was the pusher at that point. She's looking at Roland, like, I wonder why you pushed me here, and then realize like there's nobody there. But as she turns around and looks, she sees Eddie with his knife to Roland's throat, and she's like, "Young man, what are you gonna do with that knife?" And then Roland's like, "Yeah, man, what are you gonna do with that knife?"
Yeah.
Instead of
like,
asking
that,
the
like,
most
resolved the whole
obvious
thing.
questions
Yeah,
or
bro.
the typical questions.
What you doing?
What you doing?
Yeah, it's
Lay down before you hurt yourself.
there was a lot of character development, and you really did get a feel for, this person. She's alive now in the 60s. She's dealing with a lot of the civil rights movements. Like, she's very big in that whole fighting for it. She's obviously a person of color, and she's
Something
got
I
this split
noticed
personality.
with Detta and Odetta would be one is a side that definitely dealt with the suppression. I feel like dealt with the oppression, not suppression, oppression, that dealt with like the bottom of the rung of everything. And then there's the other side that's the high class, sophisticated
Yes.
Blue collar.
version. So that's it. Yes, exactly. So that's the other thing I noticed about her is the fact that it isn't just two different people, but it's two completely different experiences, as in how things work. One wants to maybe one was working with the civil rights thing, and the other one's like, well, screw everybody, I'm gonna do what I want because they don't care anyway, And so it's interesting that I noticed about her. So
I like that.
Right, like Odetta was she was a Southern Belle activist.
yeah,
That's how I felt.
Yes.
And then the other
But they
could have very
they
easily
called
been a
her
gangbanger.
a limousine liberal, because she was already rich and already privileged, and even though like that doesn't change the fact that she was dealing with what she dealt with, it was an easy way to like
it was
dismiss people like that.
exactly.
But I mean, it also highlighted that no matter how much fucking money you got, shit still happened.
Right, and you would
And you were not safe.
exactly.
No, but she still got more privileges than people that didn't have money.
Sure.
And then there was the other person that the other character that seemed the complete opposite.
Did you guys get the idea that the money was like spoiling her? Did you get the idea that she was a selfish person?
Not
Yes
so much
and
selfish.
no.
Not selfish. Like she was things like, oh well, everybody owes me stuff and everything else. But selfish enough that like she still used her privileges, but not in a harmful way. But it's still, she knew. Like I think she even mentioned toxic. Like she knew. That's why she didn't use a limousine all the time, but she still used it.
I think that she was spoiled, but also at the same time she felt that she didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Like one part of talks where she's talking to Rosalie Parks, and whenever she was at a protest, she was arm in arm, and it's very easy to say we. It's very easy to stand up whenever you have a crowd, but whenever you're by yourself, it's not so easy. So to me, she kept her life mostly secluded, except for whenever she went to go blow some money, and then she went back into hiding, and then would disappear for a lot of times.
See, to me, it sounded like she was an activist, and like she was.
Yes,
she was trying to be.
She was like
helpful.
funding things, and
she was putting herself in the middle of all the situations because she had been raised with privilege. So to me, it was like she was trying to do that as kind of like her way of staying involved, but I'm not sure like
But it still worked out.
her money would have fixed anything.
Tricky. Yeah. I think it was tricky.
But also, I think that her personality, Can mentioned, like maybe she's aware that there's a bad part of her, and like, she has to like make up for that, like she has to like do something selfless,
to me, it's
fight for other
extremes.
people's rights.
You have the
Yeah,
extreme good
maybe
side.
that's it. Maybe, yeah, he's the good. I don't really think the other person's more violent, but
Right.
yeah, maybe that's it. One's
It's
all
just
for one,
one's
and one's
soft
one
and
for
one's
all.
aggressive. Yes.
Yeah,
And
he
one
cares
One is
about
is
super
others, and the other one
selfish.
doesn't give a shit.
yeah, okay. So she's definitely a very complicated character. Like calling her the Lady of Shadows was very apt.
Yeah.
There's I believe that's comment more about her personality than like the color of her skin.
I think it's like shadows, Lady of Shadows, Lady of Secrets,
Yeah.
Lady of Unknowns.
Definitely some mystery there.
Yeah.
Do we still believe Roland is our hero?
I don't think this cleared up anything.
I think you definitely get voice to some conflict. Like he's definitely like voicing inner conflict, which
he
is more than we've
realizes
had
that
so
he's
far.
getting heartless. He
He's
realizes
definitely worried
it.
about it.
So now, like, if he's questioning his character and the shit that he's done, the choices he's made, and he's afraid that it's the wrong thing, I mean, I think that he's more good than he is bad, but here lately, the shit he's been doing is leaning more towards the bad side. And he's having that inner conflict for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's realizing there's a better way to get what he wants without sacrificing absolutely everything needlessly. Maybe he realizes he's got the right cause but the wrong answer.
I don't think we've read enough to know yet.
Right.
Well,
We're still building pieces. It's
Definitely-
like those
definitely
seasons
still
of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But
You think they're
you
good,
are supposed to
but
feel
damn.
like something. Like you're supposed to kind of be like putting together.
He's
own
our
kind
constant.
of-
We're supposed to put his character together. Like he's his personality traits, and it's a lot of shit. But if you remember, he never responds whenever the person traveling with him realizes that they are a pawn in his game. He never responds. He never responds with words or body language. Jake talked to him.
And, yeah,
Eddie
he
talks
did
to
kinda
him.
Give him the cold shoulder, didn't he?
I feel like he's cautious. About things. He's very, because of everything that he's done, he's very methodical. Is that the word?
Methodical is
Yeah.
That's a good word.
It could be that he's methodical. It could be that he knows that he's gonna sacrifice in the first. I mean, if it calls for it, because that's what
feel like
everything.
he doesn't like to waste. He doesn't like to waste time or words or whatever. He likes to just, get to it. Get it
He's
over
the white
with.
rabbit.
Possibly.
He is the white rabbit. I mean, you guys already know. Steve, what do you? I mean, based on what you know of Roland so far, what do you think? Does he lean more towards good, more towards bad, or something
Well,
in between?
I was thinking of that question as you guys were talking, and I'm going, is Roland a victim? Like the Man in Black has been all through his life setting up these tests throughout his entire life.
Manipulating him and twisting shit.
Manipulating his entire life and everyone he knows. And you go, is he a victim? Is he a hero? What is he? And I think we're just kind of waiting and seeing, because I believe there's still a hammer to fall here that we're gonna go, oh, at that point.
Roland is a tower junkie, as Eddie says, and the Man in Black has been pushing him to want and crave this tower his entire life. So
Yeah.
I think he's been brainwashed. Like, this is what my goal is.
But did Eddie know? But did Eddie know enough to even make that judgment on Roland? He doesn't understand that this has been where he's been pushed to his entire life.
If you think about it, Roland's been around for much longer than Eddie,
Yeah.
and that goes with that old time saying, "Out of the mouths of babes."
These books came out a long time ago, and if you even start Googling any of these things online. It's not that they'll tell you anything, but everybody has so many varying perspectives of what things mean, and they kind of give you some background, which might be what happens in the later books. But at the same time, you're kind of wondering, like, am I going to get this realization if I read into the rest of the books? Are they going to talk about the brick and the blue plate further on? Are they going to talk about things like that and clear them up? Because there's deep stuff. Yeah. And like I say, you even Google even a little bit. You Google blue plate, and like it's all over there, and it's deep.
Well, we know that the other half of Odetta, or is it Detta? I don't remember who's the.
Detta is the super sassy one.
Okay.
She's the hard one.
No, I just lost train of thought. We noticed that the one likes to take things, likes to just, doesn't matter what it is. It was like the deal with Macy's when they were in Macy's, and it was her controlling things at the time that was filling the purse full of costumes and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if the plate might have been like the first thing that she's like, ooh, I don't remember. I'll have to reread that part or not, if I'm not remembering right, but that might have been like the trigger for the other person to realize that they can reach out or something, maybe. And it triggered things. I don't remember. I'll have to reread that part. I don't remember what part that was.
We'll wait here while you read those chapters.
Go ahead.
You guys go ahead.
There was a lot between Detta and Odetta. Like with the whole blue plate thing, like whenever I was reading as Odetta, I felt like she went up there to visit her aunt, but she didn't quite like her. And Detta for sure hated her. And like once they got the plate, I think some shit kind of happened. She flipped her shit, and Detta took over and was like, "Fuck you and your plate." And then she went and done things in the garbage pile.
Done things.
You have to go read it or listen.
Yeah, we're actually going to be reading it, more of it here soon again.
$8.99 to listen.
Yeah, it's free on Kent's channel because we're really bad at it. So we're reading through
so
the
much
book.
fun though.
It's hilarious.
That shit was fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious.
I never heard a British Irish person. Somehow you managed to get British and Irish and Scottish together.
It's tough, but only I can do it.
I started reading Arthur in Irish, and then I couldn't get past this one fucking sentence, and then it went straight up British.
Yep.
I was like, "What the fuck?" I said, "Screw it, I'm done."
It's really fun. We have a good time. So definitely check that out if you'd like to. Tonight we were listening to Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Free to listen to, free to stream. Lots of fun to listen to. Any other time as well. I would suggest their Low Key album. I enjoy that one a lot. We are joined tonight with Tam and Chris down below me. Steve's over here. There's Steve. And then P-Pops is like the diagonal one down that way. She's the face, the brown box tonight. She's a brown box. Lots of family stuff happening. But thanks for joining us tonight. It was great. We're going to be reading those next few chapters over the next week. We're going to come back next Friday. Be getting hopefully Modus will be back by then. We'll be full force at that point. Things are gonna pick up quite a bit here in the next few chapters. So after that will be one more session, and then we're done with the book. So two more weeks, and we'll be starting on The Wasteland.
Wow.
Well,
I don't even get time to buy these.
We're gonna take a 2-week break.
Probably gonna have to take a break.
Yeah, a 2-week break, and then we'll come back to it.
Yeah, okay. Then we're gonna hit The Wasteland. That way you can get a little bit of a break. Make sure you have time.
Then it'll be season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Season 3 of our book club.
The book club.
depending on what's going on in our life in June, we'll see.
Well, June we're gonna be taking a break. Probably.
Even if you can't be a part of the show, like just keep up with us in the book and
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah,
so-
for
We
sure.
can recast your character too, so don't worry.
Yeah, we will.
You know, I
find
was a character.
Some other witch that. No, please don't leave us. Do whatever it takes to stick around. We will be happy to have you. For
I
as
can
long
keep
as
up with the
possible.
books as long as you keep posting the audio books. Will be good.
Yeah, for sure. Say goodnight to the
You will
stream.
get it
Good night,
one way or
guys.
another.
It was funsies.
Good night.
We'll catch you all later.
Good night,
Bye
y'all.
bye. Oh.
Fucking photograph.
Okay.